Welcome to Vanijya Gnana.
Human resource management. Today we are going to discuss about compensation or reward system. So first we know about what is compensation. Compensation are the monetary payments made by the employer to his employees for the work done or service rendered. That means what employees receive in exchange for their contribution to the organization. Compensation is also called as employee remuneration. Normally it involves following three components. They are basic compensation, incentive compensation, and supplementary compensation. Basic compensation includes wages or salaries. Incentive means extra financial motivation given to the employees on their performance. It includes DA, profit sharing, and bonus, etc. Supplementary compensation includes fringe benefits, employee services. Fringe benefits means extra benefits given to their employees, for example, medical and housing, etc. Compensation may be defined as money received in performance of work and many kinds of benefits that an organization provides to their employees. Next, we know about reward system. Reward system means procedures, rules, and standards associated with the allocation of benefits and compensation to employees. Reward means give something to someone in recognition of their services, efforts, or achievements. So, organizational reward system means it is concerned with the selection of the types of rewards to be used by the organization. Organizational rewards that result from employment with the organization includes all type of rewards, both intrinsic and extrinsic. The next content is types of reward. There are mainly two types of reward, intrinsic rewards and extrinsic rewards. So intrinsic reward means is an intangible award of recognition. It arises from within the employees. So intrinsic rewards are the rewards internal to the individual and normally derived from involvement in certain activities or tasks. For example, sense of achievement, feeling of accomplishment, informal recognition, job satisfaction, status, personal growth, etc. Next, extrinsic rewards. Extrinsic reward is an award that is tangible or physically given to the employees. That means that are controlled and distributed directly by the organization and are of a tangible nature. For example, formal recognition, incentive payments, social relationship, fringe benefits, pay or promotion, etc. Next, we'll know about importance or significance of reward system in business organization. So first point, reward system can influence a number of HR processes and practices which in turn have an impact on organizational performance. For example, recruitment and retention. So next, employees see reward system as signaling the importance the employer places on various activities or behavior. So next, the way in which employees are rewarded as a major influence on corporate culture. So the reward system can help to define the status hierarchy and decision making structure. Next, attention attracts public, institutional, government attention. So good reward system will helps to attain the public interest, and it will helps to retention of employees. To an employee, pay is a primary reason for working. For some individuals, it may be the only reason. For most of us, it is the means by which we provide for our own and our family's needs. So compensation is also important to organization. It represents a large proportion of expenditure. So compensation is also significant in the operation of the economy. Next, we know about what are all the factors affecting employee compensation. The factors are divided by two categories: internal factors and external factors. First, we know about what are all the internal factors. So first point is ability to pay. So ability to pay means the company ability to pay the remuneration to the employees. The level of compensation being paid to the employees depends to a large extent on the paying ability of the organization. In case the organization is big and prosperous, its employees expect a better level of salary and better perks and facilities from the management. The next, business strategy. Business strategy will also affect on the compensation. The compensation method followed by an organization depends to a large extent on the business strategy followed by them. Such as an organization following the aggressive strategy for rapid growth will maintain higher levels of compensation than their competitors. The next is job evaluation and performance appraisal. So job evaluation and performance appraisal will also affects on the compensation. So how means the job evaluation establishes a consistent and systematic relationship among base compensation rates for all jobs. In other words, it establishes the satisfactory wage differential. And in the last point, employees also affects on the compensation policy. So employees or employee factors, that means performance, seniority, experience, potential, and even luck determine his or her own remuneration. Next, we'll know about what are all the external factors affects on the employee compensation. They are labor market, going rates, productivity, cost of living, labor union, labor laws. So let we know about how labor market will affect on the employee compensation. So demand for and supply of labor influence wages and salary fixation. So labor markets are based on the supply and demand of labor in a country or a specific location that are able and willing to work. A low wage may be fixed when the supply of labor exceeds the demand for it. A higher wage will have to be paid when demand exceeds supply, as in the case of skilled labor. So the next point is going rates. So wages in a firm are influenced by the general wage level or the wages paid for similar occupations in the industry, region, and the economy as a whole. External alignment of wages is essential because if wages paid by a firm are lower than those paid by other firms, the firm will not be able to attract and retain efficient employees. So the next point is productivity. Productivity of the employees will also affect on the employee compensation. The employee's salary at times is directly related to their level of productivity. Every good management would try to bring equity between the results and rewards of an employees. So employees productivity result in increasing turnover for the organization, resulting in better revenues and ultimately an increase in the salary of its employees. So the next factor is cost of living. So cost of living is also affects on the employee compensation. A rise in the cost of living is sought to be compensated by payments of DNS allowances, basic pay to remain undisturbed. So DA takes care of the price inflation that affects the purchasing power of the employees. So it is a regular and continuing part of the compensation package that gets changed according to the price increases. Many companies include an escalatory clause in their wage agreement in terms of which DNS allowances increases or decreases depending upon the movement of consumer price index. So the next factor is labor union. So the presence or absence of labor organization often determine the quantum of wages paid to employees. The benefits of belonging to a labor union is that wages are always the union's top priority. Union leaders work hard to ensure members receive sufficient wages for the work performed. Employers of non unionized factories enjoy the freedom to fix wages and salaries as they please because of large employment. So the next point is labor laws. So government makes and enacts laws regarding welfare aspects of workers, their security and their prosperity. So workers, for example, Workers Compensation Act 1923, the Payment of Wages Act 1936, the Minimum Wages Act 1948, Employees State Insurance Act 1948, Employees Provident Fund Act 1952, the Payment to Bonus Act 1965, Maternity Benefit Act 1971, the Equal Remuneration Act 1976. So according to these acts, the organization will fix the remuneration. The next topic is dearness allowances. So dearness allowances is also called as DA. It is a allowances paid to the employee against the price rise in the economy to reduce the impact of inflation. So price rise means inflation. So inflation, at the time of inflation, the prices of goods and services will continuously raise. To reduce the impact of inflation or to reduce the risk of inflation, DA will be given to the employees. So dearness allowances in India is paid to government employees and pensioners as a cost of living adjustment allowances. So next topic is employee benefits. Employee benefit is also called as fringe benefits, perquisites or perks. Fringe benefits, perquisites or perks means employee benefits. So it includes various. The next topic is dearness allowances. So dearness allowances is also called as DA. It is a allowances paid to the employee against the price rise in the economy to reduce the impact of inflation. So price rise means inflation. So inflation, at the time of inflation, the prices of goods and services will continuously raise. To reduce the impact of inflation or to reduce the risk of inflation, DA will be given to the employees. So dearness allowances in India is paid to government employees and pensioners as a cost of living adjustment allowances. Next topic is employee benefits. Employee benefit is also called as fringe benefits, perquisites or perks. Employee benefits includes various types of non-wage compensation provided to employees in addition to their normal wages or salaries. It refers to the extra benefits provided to employees. For example, bonus, retirement benefits, housing, medical, canteen, education facilities, financial advice, etc. The next topic is wages and salary. So first we know about what is wages. Wages, the remuneration paid to the employees for the services of hourly, daily, weekly employees. So salary means remuneration paid to clerical and managerial personnel employed on monthly or annual basis. There are types of wages, mainly three types: minimum wage, fair wage, living wage. Minimum wage means which may be sufficient to enable a worker to live in reasonable comfort, fixed according to the provisions of the Minimum Wages Act 1948. So fair wage, above the minimum wage, paid according to the worker's skill, performance and job difficulties. So living wage, above the fair wage, paid to satisfy the social needs like medical, educational, etc. So the next topic is laws on wages. So first we know about the Minimum Wages Act 1948. The Minimum Wages Act 1948 provides for fixing of minimum rates of wages in certain employment. In terms of the provisions of Minimum Wages Act, an employee means firstly any person who is employed for hire or reward to do any work, skilled or unskilled, manual or clerical, in a scheduled employment in respect of which minimum rates of wages have been fixed. Secondly, an outworker to whom any articles or materials are given out by another person to be made up, cleaned, washed, altered, ornamented, finished, repaired, adapted, or otherwise processed for sale for the purpose of the trade or business of that other person. And thirdly, an employee declared to be an employee by the appropriate government. So the next law is Payment of Wages Act 1936. The Payment of Wages Act 1936 is an act to regulate the payment of wages to certain classes of employed person. The Payment of Wages Act seeks to ensure that the employers make a timely payment of wages to the employees working in the establishments and to prevent unorganized deduction from the wages. So the next law is Payment of Bonus Act 1965. The Payment of Bonus Act 1965 provides for the payment of bonus to persons employed in certain establishments in India, either on the basis of profits or on the basis of production or productivity, and is applicable to every establishment in which 20 or more persons are employed, and to all employees drawing a remuneration of less than rupees 10,000. So those employees who have worked for less than 30 days are not eligible to receive bonus under the Bonus Act. So who have worked less than 30 days are not eligible to receive Bonus Act according to the Bonus Act 1965. The Bonus Act provides for the payment of bonus between 8.33% minimum to 20% maximum. However, for the calculation of bonus, a maximum salary of rupees 3,500 is considered. So next topic is Social Security. Social Security is a federal program that provides income and health insurance to retired persons, the disabled, poor, and other groups. The program started in 1935 with the signing of the Social Security Act, which was an effort to provide a safety net for the millions of people who had suffered through the Great Depression. So finally we can conclude this topic by saying good compensation can increase the productivity of an organization because it provides various rewards, bonus schemes, etc., and it's compulsory for every organization. Thank you for watching this video. If you understood, give likes and subscribe the channel.